I'm Jim Collison and live from Omaha, Nebraska in the Gallup offices in Sydney as well as in New Zealand. This is Gallup's Called to Coach, recorded on February 9th, 2016. Called to Coach is a resource for those who want to help others discover and use their strengths. We have independent experts and Gallup Strengths coaches that share tactics, insights, and strategies to help coaches maximize the talent of individuals, teams, and organizations around the world. If you have questions during the live webcast, we do have a chat room that's available for you. It's right below the main video window down here. If you just look down there, log in. Login's in the bottom left-hand corner. Choose the guest account. Put your name in there so we know who you are, and then we'd love to have you come in and bring questions in live. We will take them during the program. If you are watching the recorded version or have questions about custom strengths coaching solutions for small, medium, and large organizations, we do that as well. And you can contact us to send us an email, coaching@gallup.com, or the contact form right there on the live page. We'll get it done. Don't forget to visit the Gallup Strength Center. Just gallupstrengthcenter.com for all your coaching resources and training and StrengthsFinder training needs. You can also catch the video and now both streaming and downloadable audio for offline listening. Tons of people are taking advantage of this now. We are up to nearly 10,000 audio downloads every single month. That means folks are downloading that, listening to that on their phone, in a car, in a train, on a plane. And we'd love to have you do that too. All the links are on our coaching blog to get that done. And all the help you need to get it done, just ask your local IT guy, hey, how do I listen to this podcast? They'll know how to do it. All the links are available, coaching.gallup.com. Ann Lingefelter is our host today. Ann works as a learning solutions consultant with Gallup out of our Sydney office, although sometimes I find her in Singapore now. Ann, welcome. And I think the last time I saw you, you were in Singapore. Welcome to Call to Coach.
Yes, that's right. Thanks, Jim. It's always great to be here. I have to say there's a few days in the year where I'm particularly sad that I'm not back in the States, and one of them just happened with Super Bowl Sunday. How was the game?
Oh, it was great. It was fabulous. That is one of those days in the United States. It's just worth celebrating, and then it goes away. As quick as it's here, it goes away, and everybody has to work out from all the extra calories. But it is that's one of those things uniquely United States that you just have to experience when you're here.
It's true, and the game is sometimes as good as the ads. The ads tend to be the highlight
Sometimes. It depends from year to year.
But anyway, it's great to be here in sunny Sydney. My coach who's joining us today is a Gallup certified strengths coach, and her name is Taisja Laudy. And Taisja is one of my favorite coaches. She came here and got her certification in Sydney, and I was there with her and got to know her very well. And I think that you're going to get a lot out of what she has to say. Taisja is the founder and president of Taisja Laudy & Co. It's a company that is solely focused on bringing out the genius in each organization and individual. She founded her company back in 2012 in Europe, and since then it's grown rapidly in Poland, Germany, Australia, and New Zealand. So Taisja, welcome to Call to Coach.
Hi Anne, hi Jim. It's amazing to be with you today. Thank you so much. I'm very pleased to be able to participate in this Call to Coach. Thank you.
Let's start with your top 5.
Yes, okay, so my top 5, I love this thing. I always have it with me. It's learner, command, responsibility, connectedness, and strategic. So I'm very strong strategically. My number 1 and my number 5 are from the strategy domain, and I claim that 100%.
I like the fact that in your top 5 you have representation in all of the domains. So you have you have strategic thinking, influencing, executing, and relationship building all in the top 5. So even though we say there's no such thing as a well-rounded individual, that sounds like a pretty good start.
Yes, I wouldn't call that being a well-rounded, because they all are still, the parts of the star or fingers of your hand, as I just discovered for myself, that I'm actually holding and having my top 5 on a day-to-day basis, and it's just my hand. All my top 5 are here, and being able to use them on a day-to-day basis. But yes, I'm very happy to have all 4 domains represented in myself, because I believe that helps me to connect very quickly with people, and it helps me. Maybe it's a reason for creating the company I've created and people which I brought on board and what we are doing. I don't know, but I believe it's using of those strengths all together.
I think that you are a very creative coach. A lot of times when I talk with you, you come up with ideas that either people just don't have missed, or I don't know, just sort of very interesting perspective. I mean, even just the hand, right? Right there, of course. There it is. It's something that we often talk about stars, right? At the points of the stars for our top 5. But yeah, there you go. So it'll be interesting to talk a bit about some examples of that creativity that you've exhibited in your work. Let's talk a little bit about some context and history first, and how you came across strengths. How were you introduced to the Clifton StrengthsFinder?
Yes, thank you for asking this question. This history is very important, and I love the question. So it started in, well, I was a senior sales director, and I believe I was a very successful sales director. I had a huge team, and I helped 5 other sales directors to grow from a scratch to grow into becoming a sales director. I trained people in Poland and in other countries, and at some points there were 2 important things which happened. One was that I always, because of my learner, I always looked for tools to make my team more successful, to make everyone who works with me not just more engaged, but generally happy and fulfilled in their lives. Later on, I figured out that it has something to do with my mission statement, but that time I didn't know that. So because of that, I constantly was looking for tools, and how can I help them? How can I make them more successful? Secondly, I had this thing in my head, and I would just name it as it is. I think it was a calling. There was this voice in my head, just stop doing what you're doing. There is something else for you to do. And I loved my job. I loved it. And I thought that I'll stay there till the end of my life. So what I was hearing, I didn't like it. I was like, no, why should I do this? I love what I'm doing. Leave me alone. But the thing was that the voice was louder and louder, and I just had this feeling that I have to stop doing what I'm doing, but I was not sure what to do after that. So one day, my friend and the pastor in our church, knowing how much I love to learn and grow, told me, look, Thais, I think you would love this. There is this tool which identifies someone's talents, this inborn, God-created talents. He didn't tell me about strengths. He said it's talents. And I was, wow, really? That was all what he told me. He didn't give me the name, the brand, the company, the name of the assessment, nothing. I came back home and I just Googled talents the best. He said that it's used for executives, that it's quite expensive, but it's very precise. This is the information I've got. So in few hours of research, I found GALLUP. I found everything GALLUP does. I found StrengthsFinder. I took an assessment. I ordered all the books from GALLUP, everything, like Vital Friends, Well-being, How Full is Your Bucket, Strength Selling, everything what was there. You know, learner number 1, I had to learn, okay? And before diving into this, I thought I had to check the assessment on myself and on everyone I knew, like my parents, my brother, my friends, people I knew well, so I could justify the precision of the assessment. And what I saw was incredible. I knew that I'm holding a treasure, and I understood that I want to share this treasure with like the whole world, the whole globe. And I knew that I can't do what I'm doing any longer. So I went to see a general manager of the company I worked for, and I quit it. One day I said, thank you, I enjoyed it, I loved it, I love the company, you know that. But since today, I think I'm starting something new. And I quit it, and in one day, from being a senior sales director, I become no one on that day. And, you know, no income, no nothing, but huge peace of mind, huge hope, and a treasure in my hands. This is how it started.
And did you go get certified straight away? Did you start your own independent consulting and start using the instrument with other people? How did you start learning with it and applying it?
Okay, so as I told you at the very beginning, because of my responsibility number 3, I really needed to know that the tool is really precise. I knew all the, you know, everything what was there, all the research done. I knew how the brain is developing. I knew when the talents are born, how they are created. But first, how I started, I just did it with everyone and I didn't charge. It was just as a gift. I wanted them to do an assessment and then I worked with them. And then there were some certifications available, but it was not accelerated coaching. So I did an educator certification. I did everything what was there those days to get professional, because for me, I wanted to be a part of GALLUP, not just being, you know, somebody who does something because I read a book. I knew that it wouldn't be enough. So those days I couldn't do the accelerated strengths coaching. It was not there yet. I believe it came up to life because of my, you know, thinking there and sending all those signs. And I remember exactly the day when I went on the GALLUP website and I saw that, wow, now I can be even more certified. But those days I already had some cooperation with GALLUP in Europe. I had certification, and as I told, I had all materials at home. And I built connections with GALLUP employees, so I just communicated with them. This is how it started, just step by step, and then individuals, different people, people who knew me. Yes.
You mentioned before, Tace, you mentioned your mission. Tell me what your mission statement is.
Thank you for asking that. That's my favorite question as well. So I believe, first I'll give you some background to that. I believe that everyone has a mission statement. I believe that we all are created with tools and with why. Why am I here? Not just to go to work, to eat, and then go to work, buy some stuff, and again, everything. And that was the calling inside. Find your mission and you'll know what you're supposed to do. And my mission today is bring millions to fulfillment. I believe that I honestly know how to bring people to their genius, to their fulfillment, to activate their full potential, which is there. I call this is actually about genius formula. This is my mission alive. It's like, I believe that we all have these amazing tools. Let's say you have a Ferrari, maybe Jim has a plane, and I have this amazing ship, but we don't drive those. We are crawling instead. This is one point. Another point, that not just we have tools, but we have an amazing motorways created in our brain. This is those neuron connections developed when we were growing up, when the talents we are creating. But we don't use those motorways. What happens from time to time, we drive on there, and those days we go, wow, that was amazing, that was a lucky day, I felt great. But what I believe, we are meant to feel great every second of life. Maybe from time to time we can, you know, drive off, but 80 to 20, 80% of the time to be on the motorway. And the other thing, that we all have a GPS. We all have this system built in, this guiding spirit, this GPS system, values, which help us to get there, to get to the destination quicker. So yeah, this all is connected with my mission statement. This all is how I work with people to help them come to fulfillment, find their fulfillment, and it's a customized solution. And why I love the Strengths Finder, I say that other tools, and I believe I know majority of them, I don't want to call them by names, but why do I love Strengths Finder? Because this is the only tool which takes you out of the box. It doesn't say it doesn't divide the whole humanity in four boxes and says, okay, you belong in here or here. No, this tool actually takes you out of the box and says, no, you are unique. You are 1 in 33 million. Actually, you are uncomparable. You are the only one. And that brings responsibility with that. If I am the only one, if I have this Ferrari, which are strengths, where is the motorway? It has to be there. Let's find it. So yes, the mission statement is bringing people to fulfillment.
So, you know, your passion is evident, and it's contagious, and that's a fantastic thing, I think, in a coach, and for people to be able to understand that there is a lot more that's possible out there. How do you translate that for clients who may want to believe it's true, but perhaps don't know how to get there? How do you translate that enthusiasm and positivity into actual achievable activities or achievable results?
Mm-hmm. So I've spoken about Ferrari, about the tool. These are strengths. If you think of genius, if you go and read what is the genius, the definition, genius consists of three parts. It's our genes, which I call this. These are our talents. This is where StrengthsFinder helps, because we identify the talents. The second part of the genius is the destination. Where am I going? So these are our goals, strategies to bring it more to the earth. We work on strategy creation. And then there's the last part, and very important, this is the acceleration part. It's the guiding spirit. It's aligned with values, but values can be translated into routines. What do I do on the day-to-day basis? What I don't do, what do I never do? Why? Because you can go to your destination like this, ages, and never get there. Or you can go just straight away, because these are your barriers, these are your values, this is where your GPS never takes you out of this space. So even if you wander around a little bit, you'll still stay there. So of course, when I work with executives, I don't tell them straight away, oh, let's identify your guiding spirit, because then they will run away. What we do, we work on values, and everyone knows today that values are crucial for being engaged and really switched on, so they're willing. But the funny thing is that when people ask me what I do, there are normally two types of reaction. When I tell them that I bring people to fulfillment, either they laugh and go, ha ha ha, really? Are there a lot of clients in this area? Or straight away they go, really? I was looking for you for years. Let's do this. And I just know that these are ready, and those not yet. They'll find me later.
Very good. That's excellent, Taisja. Let's talk a little bit about your business in Poland. Let's start there, and then we can move on to the Australia, New Zealand. But I know you've done a lot of interesting work. Can you talk a bit about the sort of work you're doing there and how you do it remotely for those coaches that are out there that may have businesses that are operating in a different geographic location from where they normally are? How do you manage those challenges?
First of all, I believe that there are no boundaries. If you understand your why, if you understand what you're delivering here, if you understand the power of strengths and what we're doing here together with GALLUP, there are no boundaries. So believing like that, I have this amazing 11 people now in Poland which cooperate with me. And because I don't do everything by myself here from New Zealand. Of course, I work with some executives, because executives and teams, these are my fields of highest expertise where you can bring the biggest change. We have people who work with children and youth. We have people who work on family synergies. We have people who work with private, just individuals who come in and ask for help or finding their strengths and making them more successful in their career. So yes, this is what we do, these three main streams.
Mm-hmm. Can you share a success story from one or two of the streams?
Oh my goodness, we have tons of them. It's incredible. Recently now we are finalizing the project we started a year ago. This is a pro bono project with kids. And I love working with kids because I believe by doing this we create a future for everyone, strength future. So there is a school in Poland, they don't have funding. Teachers are working just for free to keep kids coming to school. And they approached us, found us on somewhere on the Ministry of Education and asked if we could do strengths for the kids, because kids are from poor and pathological families. And I didn't have funding to do that as well, because I had to pay coaches, and you have to pay a little bit everywhere. And I struggled a bit because I really wanted to do this. So I had this strategical idea to gather 10% of our income from some period of time, and invest that into the project. So this month, our coaches, we assessed everyone who directly sent to us. And this month, 3 coaches are going there to work with teachers, to work with kids, to help them to be strong individuals in future, to do everything. And I'm very proud of that, and I'm proud of people I work with. And yes, this is a great success story. Another one from corporate environment. This is my first corporate experience in Poland. I had this IT company, and they started from 8 individuals. They wanted to check the process and the tool, if it's helpful, if it's good. So they started from 8 people, and those people were from sales team. And they went through workshop, through assessment, individual session with myself, very short one, and then they had a workshop, and then I had a follow-up with the manager. After that, they did the whole company. And in about 3 months, the sales record was tripled. And when I asked what was the reasoning behind, they said, yes, we did a lot of changes, but we did them before as well. So we believe that what influenced the change is mostly strengths process we went through, because the strengths language came into organization, and I spoke to executives and I spoke to manager, and she said, tools I get, insights I got into people, how to manage them, how to motivate them, how to communicate with them, are just a treasure. It's incredible. And those people, then because I'm in touch with them, a majority of them are still working there. They never quitted their jobs. Why? Because they said they cared about us, this assessment, and the whole thing was not just for the company to be successful, but we could apply it everywhere, at home, in our families, and of course for the career as well.
So in a situation like that, Taisja, after you've done the work and they've gone on and they've had great results, you say you've kept in touch with them. Do you go back in as a coach and continue to say, okay, right, let's continue to build on this. Let's make sure that we're sustaining this. How do you continue to work with the client after they've had a success like that?
Mm-hmm. Okay, it happens organically, and this is an amazing part. Today, we have a special program because I know that will happen, so we are ready. And there is a 1-year follow-up and cooperation program, like follow-up with managers, and they have a chance to come back and ask about team member and ask questions. But why does it happen? Well, they want to be in touch, and I asked why. I asked a few executives here in New Zealand, and I asked clients from Europe why. When the important decision is there, why do you call me? Why do you call other coaches? And they said, because nobody knows us the way you do. Nobody ever described my strengths the way you did. So when I have to make an important decision, I call to you. So it happens organically. They wanted to be in touch. So now we created the way for them. And this is the Genius Club, which you can see on a banner. There is a possibility for them to be with us.
It seems you can see your responsibility when you and I have had some conversations before, and you've talked about the need for Gallup certified coaches and other strengths coaches to really own and take responsibility for their knowledge around strengths. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I know that's something you're passionate about.
Yes. This is where my learn and command and everything comes together. Because, when somebody approaches me, and it happens with some coaches or with executives as well, normally it happens with those people who had a chance to do different assessments in their life. And they say, what can you tell me with this? It's just another assessment. And if it's a coach or someone who tries to build their career on this and they think in this way, I just want to tell